just that communication between pilots and aircrew, and just that, they have to work with you and you have to work with them, and just you have a different relationship than your average enlisted Marine has with an officer. In fact, I remember one time going out to a bird, and I had this young pilot. He had just come out of 301, and he was all gung-ho, which is cool, but like he was gung-ho in the wrong ways. And we were going to be flying a bunch of stuff for the grunts out to, I think we were going out to like PMRF out in Kauai or something. We were just a junk run basically, but it was a whole bunch of stuff, and none of the pallets, it wasn't like equally weighed pallets, so they all had to be in the bird in a certain order. And this pilot didn't recognize that, and so I go out to the bird, and I think I'm getting ready to start opening it up to D&T it and get ready to kick tires like fires, and all these pallets are loaded, and there's people fucking running cargo straps inside, and I'm like, no, this is my bird. Like, all that cargo is mine. And I walk in, and there it is, this first lieutenant and these two corporals from transport, whoever, they owned the gear, and they're in there, and I walked in, and I'm just like, fucking unload the plane, guys. Like, I appreciate the initiative and the intensity, but get all the shit off the fucking plane. I weighed all these pallets. I know where all our weight and balances are. And everybody just kind of looked at me, and the lieutenant, he's like, well, I'm gonna need help. And I was like, nah, man, you got it in here, you get it out. And I walked off to find the hack, because obviously he sent him out there and didn't give him directions to not fuck with my plane. And so then, I go in and I talk to control, let them know, now we're behind, because not only do I have to set everything up, now I got to go back, they've got to unload everything, I got to reload it. Now all my cargo straps are unraveled everywhere, like it's a mess. And so I end up back out on the bird, and they unload everything, and I send this lieutenant away. I'm just like, I don't even need your help. I don't want your help. You just go in, go flight brief, do whatever the hell you guys do in the ready room all day. Just get out of here. And he leaves, and these two corporals from, like I said, they're from like Motor T or Supply or something. They're just there to make sure the shit gets on the bird. And they are like, but they're from 3rd Marine, so they're ground side guys. And this kid comes up, and he's like, hey, Sergeant, because you guys got like this, there must be different rules over here or something. I was like, what do you mean, man? He goes, I can't believe you were just like yelling at that officer like he was just a Lance Corporal. I said, he is a fucking Lance Corporal. He's a lieutenant. Like, he knows less than a Lance Corporal. If he knew that he knew less than a Lance Corporal, he would be more valuable. And they were just like, what? And I'm like, and it hadn't really occurred to me, because I'm so used to, like, by this point, I'm already a WTI, and I'm the MAG NATOPS evaluator and CRM evaluator. So, like, I'm giving check rides to everybody. Like, I'm giving check rides to the guys that give check rides at other squadrons. So I'm like flying with other squadrons. And because I'm doing that, like, because, anytime you go to another squadron to fly, they're always appreciative that you've come over. So then you end up rubbing shoulders with their COs and XOs. So, like, a lieutenant colonel is just another person I'm talking to throughout the day. And I didn't have this perspective on how, like, the grunts don't live that life. Like, their CO is a captain, and he's like a boot captain, and he's a FAP usually. And so he's someone from aviation that gets sent over there to do a forward air controller job or something for a year. And he ends up being a CO for some grunt unit. And those guys, that captain's like God to them. And a lieutenant's not that far off, and so for them, what an officer says goes. And, meanwhile for us, with what we're doing, like, they do have a say, but at the end of the day, like, experience and knowledge is what gets the bird off the deck, and he doesn't have it. So, they're almost a liability with what you're doing. But it was funny because I had never really thought about. I've got senior captains and majors that, we're in doing mission planning, and I'm like arguing with them like we're all on the same level, because I'm used to being in the bird and everybody's on the same level.
Mm-hmm.
And or most of the guys that had been there a little while, they start recognizing who the valuable crew chiefs are, because they can learn a lot from us. I mean, we can learn from them too, but really they learn a lot from us as far as, even just, each gauge, they always had the tape on the gauges, and knowing like it's okay to be in the bottom end of that roam because this bird does that, and just learning little nuances about each individual aircraft, or like where you can run these systems, because they're so used to, well, the book says it should be here. Yeah, that book was written when this plane was new. This is not even like a used car at this point. This is something that should have been sent off to the scrapper years ago, but we're still going to keep it on the road. And which with that comes, sometimes the check engine light's on, dude. Like, but we know that it's because of this, so it's okay. And they start to kind of learn a little bit about, the platform itself from the crew chiefs when they choose to. Because a lot of them don't choose to. You have your guys that want to be pilots, and they think that makes them cooler than everybody else. And those are the guys that they never get to be a line chief, like a line OIC or airframes, because even the higher officers recognize, like, those are the guys that end up at ops writing flight schedules, because they can't send them down to maintenance because they'll get eaten alive. Like, you get one of those officers that doesn't treat the troops right, and you put him in maintenance, and it's gonna, like, his life's gonna get real hard real quick.
Right.
Like, you got to be resilient especially if you got a Flightliner and Avi shop, the two biggest shops. You got to be resilient. Like, you can't get upset just because somebody got in a fight on a Saturday night. You got to be happy that it was only 2 fights and 2 people, and not the entire shop out in one big fight together. Like, you gotta take your wins where you can get them. But yeah, no, that story was funny to me, just because it's, you get that perspective of like, man, I guess I'm living in a different Marine Corps than these guys. We're in the same place, our money comes from the same place, but we're living 2 very different lives.